Welcome to day 7 of the Rich Method. We are back to cover what almost feels like part 2 of yesterday. So if you didn't watch yesterday's video, I talked about what had to happen before I could have 1,000 people move toward me. And it's really the part that most people don't talk about. It's the unsexy work. It's the real talk. So it will be helpful if you have that session as well as this one. Now, in today's session, I'm going to be sharing what to do when an idea comes to you. How many of you receive ideas when you're in the shower or when you go for a walk or you're in the car? Actually, this is a better question. When do you receive your best ideas? Do you have an idea of when this happen? When does this happen? This is what I'd love to hear first. I'd love for you to put in the comments, where and when do you receive your most inspired ideas? For most people, there is a theme. And so I'm going to cover today what to do when the idea hits, when you receive the idea, what to do when people don't respond to your idea. It seems so good when it arrived, and yet people are not really responding to it the way that you thought they would. And then ways to strengthen your ability to receive and act on ideas. So let's start here. Really what I'm getting at today, what I want to develop today is that we often think that we're acting on our own inspiration, or I just want to do this, or I just am good at this. But most people, when they pause and reflect, they're actually doing things because they have some sort of whisper or nudge. There's some sort of guidance. There's some sort of navigation system that's moving us from place to place, conversation to conversation, relationship to relationship, idea to idea. Really, when I get an idea, the way I see it is this, is I'm receiving this idea, I'm hearing this idea, because there's people out here who are asking for this. I want to give you this frame of mind because what can easily happen is when we receive an idea, if we just think of it as, oh, that's an idea, that's another thing I could do, that's another thing to put on the to-do list, that's something I could consider. Oh, you know what? That might be something I do in the future. If that's the lens we look at it through, we're going to miss the big opportunities. So I did a post on social media, and it essentially said, if you have a connection to God, spirit, source, higher power, whatever you call it, and you have not yet created financial material abundance, it's because you don't act on the idea when you receive the idea. Now, I actually want this to be the cornerstone and the foundation of what we talk about today. Number one, if you're not making the amount of money that you want to make, if you're not working with a number of people you want to work with, and it's been this way for a while, or you have got to the place where you just go, you know what? Maybe I'm not meant to create a lot of financial wealth in this lifetime. Or maybe a lot of people just are interested in this, or whatever it is. I want to bring you back to the statement. If you act on the idea when you get the idea, it will lead to financial abundance. It will lead to material wealth. You're going to take something that's invisible, that's flying around, that's floating, that drops into your head and heart. And then when you take action and you tell someone about it or you do something about it, you make it material. And if you will go through this process, I'm telling you, you will make money. In fact, the people who make the most money, they combine two skill sets. They listen and receive the idea, they act on it, and they learn the skills that are necessary in this world. They learn how to communicate what they received. They learn how to receive money for what they're offering. And they just continue the cycle. This idea of receiving inspired ideas every now and again, or feeling like you're being guided, happens once in a blue moon. I'm going to show you today how that's not true. If you've ever thought that you can't hear, or other people who do hear are special, I'm going to blow that up today. And if you've ever been influenced by so many people who say, well, really, you can have sort of this spiritual clarity and this anchor and connection to your soul purpose, and or you can have financial wealth, we're getting rid of that as well. I want you to never forget this moment and these things I'm telling you today. Because if you remember this whole concept of, if I act on the idea when I receive the idea, it will always work out for me and them, then you'll view every idea when it comes to you differently. Because for the majority of people, when this bolt of lightning hits, whether it's a soft whisper or this very pronounced big experience, but when something moves from up here to in here, most people do not look at it like this needs to be brought into this physical experience and I'm being asked if I'm willing. And if I'm not willing, it's okay, but it has to come into this physical experience, so it's just going to come through someone else. So am I in or am I out? And if I'm in, I'm going to get paid for it. And if I'm out, I'm not going to get paid for it. Somebody else is going to get paid for it. Is this how you're viewing and respecting ideas when they come to you? If not, this is the lens I want you to look at it through. And if you have ever thought that financial wealth or material wealth wasn't for you, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, it couldn't be that simple. You can't just say, you can't say that that's the road. There's all these components. This is what I want for you, is I want you to go test it and prove me wrong. I want you to act on the ideas that you're given when they're given to you. And then I want you to report back after 12 months and tell me that that didn't lead you to every person, every opportunity, and to the financial material wealth. I want you to prove it wrong. But you've got to do this, and you've got to test it out, and you got to have enough data, and you got to do this for a year. And then I want to have a little chit chat. We'll have coffee and dinner, and we'll talk about what happened. So what keeps us from acting on the idea when we receive the idea? Mainly our mind, all of this mental chatter. When most people receive an idea, well, maybe we should back it up. If you don't receive ideas, if someone's watching us and you say, I don't receive ideas, I don't hear whispers, I don't feel nudges, I don't feel being pulled or guided in any way, then what I would recommend is watching yesterday's video and implementing the long walks, the movement beyond where we get beyond the mind chattering away, get to the stillness and the silence. There is not enough space. So this is how I think of it. Whatever it is that you believe, but this is kind of the way I see it. My angels, guides, and ancestors, they're like, dear God, if we could only get a word in edgewise, right? Her brain, her internal world is so loud and so messy, so chaotic. We could give her an idea, she wouldn't hear it. Her schedule is jam-packed. She's stressed to the max. She's taking care of herself and everyone else. She's taking on her stuff and everybody else's stuff. She's the general manager of the universe. We couldn't get in if we tried. So step one is having enough space and stillness so that your guidance system can get a word in. Can even get to this place where if an idea is dropped, you would hear it, you would recognize, you would know it. You're not just moving so freaking fast through your to-do list and through your life that you wouldn't even acknowledge it. It just wouldn't even register. Most human beings, they're so keyed up that some soft message, some little nudge, some little knowing it won't even be acknowledged. So I want to give a few examples. I know you already have this happening to you. I know you've had it happen before, but I want to give you examples and to show you the connection between the idea and what happens next. So interestingly enough, yesterday I finished the session and I told the boys, we're going to go, run some errands. We're going to go wash the truck. We're going to go get some groceries, and then we'll come home and chill. So I had said in the morning, let's go get you guys a haircut. Their hair is just so wild and long and curly, and it's hot, and there's probably a handful of sand in there. I said, we need to get haircuts. I was going to call Walmart to see about getting them an appointment. And I have a whole story about Walmart, so wait for it. And right when I picked up my phone to call Walmart, I just heard, don't call, walk in. So I did my thing here, closed it off and said, let's jump in the truck. Let's go to Walmart first. So we walk into Walmart and there's three lovely ladies who are just standing there having fun, joking. They have no one in the store. So perfect. Both the boys go in, they get their haircuts at the same time. And while they're getting their haircut, I start walking Walmart. Now, Walmart has not always been a hot spot for me, but 6 years ago when we moved to my hometown and we were in the middle of nowhere, some of you know, we used to drive 5 hours to go to Trader Joe's. One day I got a similar thing, like just go walk Walmart. Now, when that idea came, I had a lot of reasons I didn't want to walk Walmart. Okay. So I'm just going to tell you exactly what went through my mind when I heard go to Walmart and walk around. Yeah, I'm not really a Walmart girl. Okay. So thanks for the idea. It's not really on brand for me. Okay. Go walk Walmart. Yeah. Well, where I lived, walking Walmart, it was quite a show. You know what I'm saying? It's just interesting, that there's not a people of Walmart for no reason. And that Walmart could have been featured every day. It just wasn't my vibe. It didn't feel like this is where I'm going to get an elevated idea. This is not how I'm going to take my life and business to the next level. But I know better. And I have this fun little practice. I'll play ball, right? You throw me an idea, I'll bite. Every single time I'll bite. So I go to Walmart 6 years ago and I'm walking around and nothing in particular happens, but I did the thing. And then I would hear, go to Walmart. So I'd go to Walmart. Sometimes I'd walk around. I just say, hey, I can get some steps in, if nothing else, right? But I would follow this guidance. I didn't know why I was being told to go to Walmart. It didn't necessarily make any sense. Nothing in particular happened at Walmart, but I was willing to act on the whisper. Now, I don't know at what point, how many visits it was into my Walmart adventure, but I started realizing that my grandma was meeting me at Walmart. Now, my grandma Ruth, she loved Walmart. I mean, first of all, it's the only place you have to shop in this little community. So that's the obvious thing. She was very practical, but she also liked Walmart because she loved a good deal. I mean, she loved her Black Friday. I mean, I went to her for Black Friday at 5 a.m. for Cabbage Patch. Like, I had been indoctrinated. I knew how to shop. And grandma never bought one or two of anything. She'd buy a dozen or a half dozen, but never less. And so when I started walking around Walmart, I started realizing, oh my gosh, I can feel my grandma here. And then, wouldn't you know, I would start to hear a lot of things when I was in Walmart. It was like grandma was having just this full-blown conversation with me, just like we were sitting down having tea together, making cookies together. And it was really interesting because it was it was literally like a conversation. But she's on the other side and I'm on this side. So in Walmart, the veil was very thin, very thin. And then I started getting, ideas about the next offer when I was in Walmart. And then the interesting thing was, but I want you to keep this in mind. I want to give you the details of this. About 4 years in to walking Walmart 4 to 6 times a week, every time I'd walk into Walmart, I'd get a message in Messenger. Hey, Monique, can you tell me about your mastermind? Hey, Monique, can you tell me about Rich Mixer? Hey, Monique, I'd like to do that thing that you were just talking about. Could you send me the link? I'd like to buy it. One day in particular, I remember I had just walked in and I hear a ding. Yeah, this is the ding place. This is the place. So I gave them the link. As soon as I gave them the link, somebody else asked for the link. And then I'd start getting messages from Derek. Oh, hey, so-and-so just bought this thing. So Walmart became the place where payment notifications are going off. Now, had I got the message, go walk Walmart, and I said, yeah, Walmart's kind of beneath me. By the way, I'm wearing a shirt from Walmart. It's just like a cosmic joke now. So if you see me wearing outfits from Walmart, it's a thing because I was in there every freaking day. Like I know every single item Walmart carries. I know that store inside and out. But had I stopped myself from going to Walmart because it sounded stupid and it didn't feel like me, and I don't do that, and it's definitely not my favorite store. When I went for the first time 6 years ago, I couldn't even tell you the last time I'd been in a Walmart. If I had resisted and not listened to that little whisper that said, just go walk Walmart, I wouldn't have had so many conversations with my grandma. I wouldn't have received so many ideas for offers. I wouldn't have received all of these dings and clients and payment notifications and send me the links. It wouldn't have happened. And big things didn't happen right away because initially the guidance or the nudge is just, I believe, to see if we're going to do it. Are we willing to play ball? Are we a willing participant in this whole game? Are we willing to be the physical representation of what's not physical? Yes or no? That's really what it's about. And then as we practice saying yes and acting on it, it literally builds. Because it's like with anything, the relationship develops. We don't have these deep and meaningful relationships with people on this side of the veil if we haven't cultivated it. Same is true on the other side. Now, let me give you a couple more examples because sometimes it really just doesn't make any freaking sense. And so the key is can you act on it even when it makes no sense? So for years, and I can't tell you how many hundreds of times I've lost track, I would make breakfast for Derek, the boys, and my dad. My dad would come out to the house for breakfast. And we had been on a real run, it was like breakfast at a certain time, and then I'd do my calls, and it was just, we were in this rhythm. But this one day, I didn't feel like I was supposed to invite my dad over for breakfast. Now, it didn't make any sense, okay? But I didn't invite him for breakfast. In fact, I think I sent him a text and just said, I have to get ready for my call. And I just left it at that. Felt a little weird, but I just felt, don't invite your dad to breakfast. Okay. Well, my dad calls me about 2 hours later and he says, this morning, I woke up at like 5 a.m. and I heard, go to Pippo's for breakfast. It's this little cafe. And he said, and then you said you couldn't do breakfast. So I went to Pippo's and I was sitting there eating by myself, minding my own business. And a man walks in and I overhear him talking about how he's in from out of town, looking to buy a property. And he's just kind of pulling stuff up, walking around, the real estate office on Main and trying to find something to look at. So my dad turns, he's a realtor, and he says, I'm a realtor, I'm a local. I'd be happy to pull the properties for you, drive you around, give you any information you need. And the man says, great. I don't have a lot of time. I have like 2 days I'm in town. And right then and there, my dad became his realtor. The man bought a property, and my dad received a lovely commission. Now, this series of events happened because I heard don't invite dad to breakfast, and dad heard go to Pippo's for breakfast, and we both listened. And so the deeper you get into this, you realize they're receiving messages and I'm receiving messages. And if we both listen and act on what we're hearing, knowing, feeling, whatever you want to call it, then it's even more dynamic. So when guidance drops in, I mean, it first needs a space. If you don't have days off, if you don't have times when you're not going, right? That's going to be step one. But also, if we can get past the arguing and the resistance and the logic and the this and the that and all of this, and we can just see it as this is an opportunity for me to dance. And if I take it, I know something good is going to happen. Even if it doesn't happen immediately, even if I don't know how it happens, it's going to happen. And when good things happen to me, they always happen to other people as well. Good comes of it for other people. This is the frame of mind that I want to put you in. Because if I hadn't listened to the idea to create an event or an offer, then all the people who bought it would have never come into my world. And they would have never got help with that one thing that thing helped them with. Is this making sense? So what do you do when you receive an idea? This is really what it comes down to. Do you doubt it? Do you question it? Do you fight it? Do you put it in a notebook, put it on a shelf? Or do you just do it? Now, here's what happened yesterday. Okay. I already told you about the Walmart, but something else happened. So my alarm went off at 6 a.m. because I'm getting ready for this whole song and dance, right? And I hit the alarm, I turned the alarm off. The last 7 days is the only time I've used an alarm in a long time. But I got this message to do this thing this way. So that's why it's been at 9 o'clock. I would prefer not to do it at 9 a.m. to be honest, but I just followed the guidance. But yesterday, I turned my alarm off and I clicked over on Facebook, and at the top of my feed, it said that this group had been recommended for me. And you know how Facebook is. Sometimes the groups they recommend for you, you're not sure why. I shared it on social media, one weird one that I got the other day. But this one was for female business owners in this area I live in. So I said, oh, I'm going to click on it. So I'm clicking around, read the description, read some of the posts, check out the lady who's a facilitator. And I'm just kind of considering, because what I have to tell you the truth on is that I like being online. It's very leveraged. It's very smart. It's very sophisticated. It's a whole system that I love. And I haven't done local stuff for a long time. I did some stuff in my hometown, but that was really, simple and basic and beginner. The last time I networked in person was in San Diego in 2011. God, what is it? 2026? It's been a long time. And I hadn't really wanted to do local stuff. I like my online life. I like what I got going on. It wasn't in the plan. But as I'm clicking around and spying and thinking I really need to get in the shower, I hear, just join the group. So I click to join the group. And then I hear, click on the events. Sure enough, there's an event tab, and there's an event happening today at 9:30 a.m. So I click on the location. The location is 2 miles from where my house is. I go, well, it's 9:30. If I do my live and I'm finished at 10 and then I have to drive there and I'm going to a new place I haven't been, like I'll be late. It'll be over. And that's disrespectful. I don't want to go to my first event late. And I hear, well, just go and reschedule your live. No one's going to die. No big deal. Okay. Okay. So I click on the event, I RSVP. The lady says you can come to the first event for free and then you can decide if you want to join us. I get up, same time today, do all the things, but instead of being here with you at 9 a.m. New York City, I drive to the in-person thing. And I was more concerned with making sure that I got to the right location and, figured out where I was going. I park, I get inside this beautiful garden cafe, just gorgeous, downtown Venice. And I sit down, and right then I had a pure moment of panic. I said, oh my God, I was going through all these things. I forgot to think about what I'm going to say in my 60-second commercial. Now, how embarrassing is that? Because my whole business is Network Like the Rich, and I forgot to prepare myself for this networking event. So people were just starting to arrive because I got there early. I like to get places early. So I was like, okay, get a hold of yourself, Monique. This is what you do for a living. You can do this. Think of the most simple sentence, the fewest words possible. Okay, I got it. And about 3-4 minutes later, the lady who was running the event, she says, welcome. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to do a quick round robin. Just, take 30 seconds to say what you do. And then we're going to get into more of these questions and conversations, and I'll guide you through it. So you all would be proud of me because I didn't let you down. I didn't make a fool of myself. When I told Derek the story, he said, I'm secondhand embarrassed for you, right? I know. So when I said, hi, I'm Monique. I teach female entrepreneurs how to network like the rich. The whole group went, oh. So I nailed it, ladies. And I loved the event. So well done. So thought out. Loved the people that I met. Loved the leader. This is really what it was going to come down for me, is was I going to join if I liked the leader, if I felt like she had a big vision. Everything is like tick, 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 tick. I come home and it's just like, oh my goodness. How cool is it that I just moved somewhere and 2 weeks in, this group is suggested for me, and it's just boom, just follow the breadcrumbs, just follow the yellow brick road. And see, it didn't show up as a voice or an idea, but it was the top of my feed and it was this invitation. So it can also show up like that. Life will literally point us and open the doors and create and place these things so that we know, hey, this is a possible next step. Hey, why don't you just give it a shot? Why don't you walk through door number 3? And I am so glad that I did. So, what are you going to do when you receive the guidance, the idea, the nudge? We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Can you walk out? Can you live the faith walk before you see it, before you know it, before you understand it, before it all makes sense, before you know, oh, this is what this is going to lead to, and this is going to be worth my time, and can you say yes? Let's go to number 2. What to do when you thought you followed the guidance, you thought you received the idea, and you bring it out to the world and people don't respond the way you thought they would. It doesn't lead to what you thought it would. Has anyone ever been there? I got this download for a program. I received this very clear idea for this. And then when I put it out, nobody bought it. This is, especially for entrepreneurs, this is one of the biggest reasons we're hesitant to act on the next idea or to really walk it out, because it's like, well, I did that once and nothing happened. Remember, the key is it's not about what we think happens. It's about who we're being, what we're willing and up for. Are we ready to play ball? Are we ready to be the physical representation of the non-physical? So sometimes that might happen, and it's really just to be like, cool. I think that was just for me to listen. But it could also be this, and there's two things I want to touch on. It could be that you received the idea in August and you brought it out publicly and invited people to it in February. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that doesn't work well. It's like if you made a banana nut, we'll say banana nut muffins for me in August, and then you delivered them to me in February. I'm probably not going to appreciate that gift. No matter how wonderful the idea and how beautiful the intention was, there's a problem in this gap of time in the way it was delivered. What most people don't realize is when the idea drops, when the inspiration hits, when the communication comes through, that timing is important. The timing has already been worked out. If we receive this and then we decide to put our own timing on it, it doesn't necessarily sound good in the ears or taste good in the mouth. It's not the same. Oh, you know what? I think I'll do that at some point in the future. So the timing is a real key component. If you are acting on the ideas and it's really postponed from when it was delivered to you, it's a problem for people who receive it. And honestly, it's probably already been delivered, right, 6 months prior. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just get to decide how in we want to be. Now, the second thing that can happen, and this is extremely common, is if we receive the idea and we act on it, if we communicate it, if we bring it from invisible and we make it visible through some sort of action, and people don't take a hold of it, it's because we didn't pair with it, the other skill set I talked about, this ability to communicate it. Now, I can tell you there's a lot of people in business who are extremely successful and they don't necessarily know 72 skill sets. They're not necessarily the best at all the things, but they're really good at two things. When they get the idea, they act on it and they figure out how to communicate in a way that human beings can understand. If you can do those two things, you can be extremely successful. We like to complicate it, but I'm telling you, you can distill it down to these two things. So what does that look like? When people get an idea and they're like, this is how they present it. Let me tell you the social media post. Hi, everyone. I received a download. I received an inspired idea. I got this bolt of inspiration. I am going to do such and yada, yada, hoo, and ha, ha. It's this whole long thing. And in this communication or in this offer, in this invitation, they do not know how to think about the point of view of the reader, of human beings who walk this planet, who are really just scanning all information for this. Why should I care? And what does this do for me? When people go, oh, Monique, people are better than that. Like my buyer is much more sophisticated than that and so much more smart than that and has more depth than that. And so, let me just tell you, they don't. If we want to bring heaven on earth, we have to remember earth rules. We have to remember the way that human beings go through life. Human beings are not going to get excited. Yay, Becky got a download. Let's throw money at her. That's not how people operate. Ooh, she's inspired. I want to be in her space. No. oh, this is why I should care, and this is what I get as a result of her following this whole process. If in your communication, your emails, your videos, your reels, your posts, if you are not answering why they should care and what it's going to do for them in plain English, bottom line it, I'm going to tell you, not that many people are going to click and do the thing. If you're convincing them, and if you're going to try to explain it and you're going to try to do all of that, but you can't really get to that, this is what it's going to do for you, part, or you think like that just feels really crass, like, God, I'm not a marketer, Monique. I'm not sleazy. I'm not a sleazy used car salesman. Call it whatever you want. If you cannot communicate this when you communicate about the idea you received, they're not going to buy it. They're not going to move towards you, and they're not going to care. When you can pull these two things together, oh my goodness. So some of you know last year, I believe it was November, I'm putting laundry away. One of my least favorite activities, okay? Like I'll wash the clothes, I'll dry the clothes. Getting them on the hanger, like I'd rather burn them and buy new clothes, okay? So I was putting laundry away, but I have watched my husband. My husband is so good. He will literally take the clothes from the dryer and he'll put them away. So I decided I'm going to be more like Derek. I'm just going to just go do it. And there's no music playing. There's no podcast in my ear. It's just me and the clothes and the hangers. And I went to pick up a shirt and I heard, do a year-end event. That week between Christmas and New Year's, no one's doing anything anyway. Do like a celebration of the year, end the year on a good note, do an event. So I go, ooh. So I put down my shirt, I go find my phone. It's like, ooh, December 30th. That's the perfect time. Okay. Okay, perfect. So what do people get as a result of coming to this event? So when I get ideas, I just talk back to whatever's talking to me. So why would people come? What are they going to get as a result of coming? Oh, they get to share about their business, have a contest, make it fun. They get to play in this week that just feels like you're neither here nor there. Like make it a celebration, introduce them to new people. Make it your goal to sell 100 tickets, and it's this great place for everyone to play together. Okay, so I'm writing notes in my phone, right? Get my thumbs going. I tell Derek, he does the thing. I post it on social media. I don't know, 110, 120 people buy tickets. So many incredible connections come out of this event. Then I invite everyone into this and that and the other, and so many sales happen. And I'm just like, oh, you know what? I'm glad I decided to be like Derek. I'm glad I decided to put the clothes away. I'm glad I did this, glad I did that. But here's the thing, I could have done all that, but if when I was talking about the event, I didn't say why you should care and what you're going to get out of it, even though tickets were only $12, you wouldn't have bought it. You've got to bring these two things together. Okay, last but not least, ways to strengthen your ability to receive ideas, guidance. So we already started off, if your life is very jam-packed, very loud, and your mind is bonkers, we already talked about that. Go on the 3 to 6 mile walks, lay in silence and stillness for 20 minutes, and then work up to 60. But I have something else for you today. In the beginning, I asked you, where do you usually receive ideas? This is a clue. We all have these things, every single human being. This isn't for special people. This isn't for some people. This is for everybody. So I've had clients who say, Monique, I get the best ideas when I'm in the shower. I get ideas when I'm in my car. I get ideas when fill in the blank. Now, for me, I have always got a lot of good ideas when I do the dishes. A little story that happened about 2 months ago on a Saturday. So I basically ran a kitchen out of my kitchen, right? I was feeding Derek, the boys, and my dad, 3 meals a day. So dishes and pots and pans, I make everything from scratch. Like this stuff would start stacking up fast. And on this particular week, I had not kept up with it. We had, I don't know what going on. And when Saturday arrived, the kitchen looked like it had blown up. And I needed to go run some errands, get more groceries, and take Sam to a birthday party. And when I came home, Derek is cleaning the kitchen. And he's in the kitchen for like 3 or 4 hours. Now, there was only one thing that Derek told me when we first met. He's like, I will help with everything. And let me tell you, he has. He has had babies on his shoulder, he's done everything, but he's like, I just want you to know the one thing I really don't enjoy is like I just hate dishes. Like, it's cool. I love dishes. It's where I receive my ideas, right? I didn't tell him that, but I'm fine. Cool. Well, I go check on him. I said, do you want me to help you? No, I'm good. You go do your thing. Okay. The next Saturday, I'm going into the kitchen to do stuff, and Derek comes and he finds me. He goes, "Oh, so listen, I'm fine cleaning up the kitchen." I go, "No, you cleaned it up last weekend. Like I'm good. It's not even a disaster." He says, "No, I'd really like to." And I look at him and he goes, puts his hands on my shoulders and he goes, "It's just really, really peaceful when you do the dishes. It's like a meditative state." And like I got clear on some things and connected some dots and some things I've been trying to figure out. Like I figured it out when I'm doing the dishes. Fine. You do the dishes. So is it when you do the dishes? Is it when you go to yoga? Is it when you walk the beach? When you go to the lake? Is it when you lay on the ground? Is it when you're with your dog? When do you often receive ideas? Walk in Walmart, of all places. So I keep track of the places that I frequently receive ideas or guidance or this still knowing. I just know something that I don't know how I know it, but I know it and it's my next thing. I keep track of these things. So as you can tell, walking Walmart's a big one for me. Doing 3 to 6 mile walks outside, doing the dishes, apparently hanging up laundry now. It's a new one. And they'll kind of rotate, and then some are just steady. Sitting in my favorite field in Colorado, that was a big spot. And new places can pop up anytime. So yesterday when the boys were getting their haircut, I thought I was going to go over to get some sparkling water and some poppy sodas, and I heard go straight. So I'm going straight. Like, what did I forget? Do I need scotch tape? Do I need that? No, just walk straight down this aisle all the way to the back of the store till you get to the end. Okay. So I get to the back and there's a bike. Cute little bike with, a bell and a basket. And I heard, go for bike rides. Now, this idea had dropped in before we moved, and there it was. Just go for bike rides. That's where you're going to receive lots of stuff. So if you know that this is the thing or the place or the way that guidance comes in, then make it priority to be in those environments, in those activities on a more regular basis. Because guidance and direction isn't meant to drop in once in a blue moon. It's meant to happen all day, every day. We can actually be in this communication, in this sync up, in this dance with this side and the other side all day long. This is how we have heaven on earth. Not heaven one day, someday when we die and we go somewhere else. No, like we bring it here because we pay attention to how it works, how it moves when it shows up, what encourages it, what discourages it, what makes it easier to hear, what makes it harder to hear. And when you get this idea on a random Thursday at 3 o'clock to walk around your neighborhood, you're just going to do it. Because that could be the environment or become the environment where everything comes to you. So much of business is about communication, outbound communication. Today was about communication that we receive. that we listen to, and then we do something with in the timing that we receive it. You can spend a lot of days and a lot of years wondering if you're receiving guidance, if you're making it up, if it's real, if it's not, if it's on point, off point. You can do all that. You can wrestle that out. You can talk it out. You can debate it out. Here's the thing, I just wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. So if every day you put yourself in an environment or a situation, 10 minutes of hanging up laundry, to create enough space for your angels, guides, and ancestors to get a word in edgewise. And if you did something with what was given to you to make it real and tangible in this material world, and then you said it in a way that other human beings could actually hear because they knew why it matters to them and how it benefits them. And if you did this dance all day, every day, not only would you enjoy your life a lot, not only would you feel the connection that is the realest connection, not only would you be the biggest blessing that you could be, you would receive financial blessings big time. I think that's all I have to say for today. So you have 3 things. Decide what you're going to do when you receive an idea. Learn how to communicate it in a way that human beings could hear. And cultivate and notice where you receive ideas. Work those into your day, to your life. I'll see you tomorrow. I can't remember what I'm talking about, but I'll be here at the regular time, I do believe. See you soon. Bye.